Greetings, everyone. I am Pete Pardo from Sea of Tranquility. It's with a heavy heart, man. It's a sad, sad day that I'm here to report the death of one of the all-time greats, Forrest Richard Betts, otherwise known as Dickie Betts from the Allman Brothers Band, has left the building. Born December 12, 1943 in West Palm Beach, Florida. He passes away here on April 18th, 2024, at the age of 80, suffering from he had cancer and COPD, and he had a stroke a number of years ago. And, Dickie hasn't been the healthiest guy in more recent times, but man, does he leave behind a legacy of great songs, great guitar playing. Yeah, one of the true originators, right? I mean, we're going to go all the way back. Obviously, he was busy playing and doing stuff down south in the late 60s, but it was, with this album. The Allman Brothers Band debut, where he, alongside the late, great Duane Allman, formed one of the most influential twin guitar teams of all time. We can talk all we want about Thin Lizzy and Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and even really Wishbone Ash, right? But quite frankly, the guys who were doing it that way early on were the Allmans. Whether you call it Southern rock or just call it blues rock, right? Originally, there was no Southern rock tag. It was just blues rock. It's just blues, right? And little bits of jazz and things, right? A little bit of country, right? Great stuff. And what a signature style. Back in the day, Duane got all the attention. But Dickie really had a great tone, very melodic sense. He was the, Duane was the fiery guy, played the vicious slide, but all that real lyrical, melodic stuff, that was Dickie, right? And it really was, great stuff on here, of course, going back and forth with Duane and, Greg on vocals, and, it's great stuff, but it really was with, like the next album, Auto Wild South, where I think his songwriting skills really started to come to the forefront. In Memory of Elizabeth Reed, that's Dickie's song. That's one of the great instrumental rock songs of all time, that incorporating jazz and fusion, right? Even at the time, really, nothing really called fusion. But you listen to that, and you can hear where the fusion bands a couple years later were kind of getting some of this stuff from. And there you had a perfect instrumental vehicle for all that the Allmans did so well, highlighted by those two sensational solos from both of these guys. But Dickie wrote that song. Dickie would go on to write lots of great instrumental songs for the band over the years, as well as what we found very shortly thereafter. He became a really great songwriter for more of that kind of like rootsy country rock type stuff, right? So, of course, legendary playing on the Live at the Fillmore. Arguably one of the greatest guitar live albums of all time. Noteworthy for not just Duane, but also for Dickie. Again, I think Dickie always got kind of overshadowed by Duane back in the day, but when you go back and listen to this whole discography of stuff that he's done, it's just pretty incredible, right? Eat a Peach, Blue Sky. It's a perfect example of what he could do in this kind of like country rock framework, right? But Southern style, right? So the birth of Southern rock kind of comes right around this time. And of course, this is happening as we lose Duane, and then shortly thereafter we lose their bass player, Barry Oakley, right? Dickie kind of picks up the pieces. Greg's brother is gone, so his soulmate, his younger brother, or his older brother, I should say, is gone. Who else to pick up the reins in the Allmans for brothers and sisters but Dickie, right? Ramblin' Man, that's Dickie Betts, right? So you got Blue Sky and Ramblin' Man. All of a sudden, this more kind of upbeat, kind of rootsy country Southern type thing, right? The birth of Southern rock. Southbound, right? He's singing stuff on here too, very distinct vocal style. Again, that's what's so great about the Allmans back in the day, is you had Greg and Dwayne and Dickie's vocals sounding very different from each other, played off each other very, very well. And again, you could argue that throughout the rest of the 70s, it really was Dickie who was the driving force behind this band. You know, you got albums like these. There's all sorts of things going on in the Allman Brothers, right? You know, Greg is going out and he's partying, he's hanging out with Cher, and he's living the lifestyle, and Dickie's trying to keep the band going. High Falls, another terrific, terrific instrumental. Pegasus, right? Blazing guitars. And, you know, for a while there, he was the only guitar player in the band. You know, they had brought in other people here and there to kind of help out along the way, but man, all of a sudden now, as the kind of de facto leader or co-leader of the band, you know, Dickie's guitar hero skills, songwriting skills, vocal skills, so important to this band. So, so important. And, you know, when the Allmans, you know, kind of break up and stuff, you get the great Southern, right? Now, as a true band leader of his own band, nothing to do with the Allmans. This is very good stuff there as well. You know, there's some cool live stuff out there if you want to kind of hear all this, playing Allman classics and great Southern acts stuff. Later in the decade, you got the Dickie Betts Band, also very, very good. You know, a little more modern at the time, Southern rock, late 80s. And then, quite frankly, when they decided to get the Allmans back together at the end of the 80s, you know, they released the Dreams Anthology box set, and the band decides, hey, why don't we go out on the road, see how it works, and then that works. They go into the studio, right, revamped, got Alan Woody and Warren Haynes in tow. They do 7 Turns. How about the title track, 7 Turns? Again, in the tradition of some of these other songs, Ramblin' Man and Blue Sky, right? Again, he can write that kind of catchy, kind of Southern country rock type of thing. And then the blistering guitar work on here. All of a sudden, he's got a new foil to work with in Warren Haynes. And that new blood just invigorated the band. Albums like these, just terrific. You know, unfortunately, this would be the last album, studio album anyway, that we would see with Dickie and the band, because interestingly enough, all those years later, after like Greg, who went through years and years of substance abuse and issues dealing with his demons, once he kind of got clean, then Dickie kind of fell off the wagon, right? So there was an issue because they were trying to keep a kind of status quo in the band, especially out on the road, trying to keep Greg back in shape and keep him on track, and Dickie was kind of falling off. So, you know, there came a time where they had to part ways, and Dickie would go and do the Dickie Betts Band and Great Southern again and do all sorts of stuff, and then eventually start playing with his son, right? But probably about the 2015, 2018, where the health things started happening once again, and he has been unable to be doing lots of live stuff in more recent years. And unfortunately, now there's going to be none of that. So, but yeah, lots of great music. If you're a guitar fan, this is a huge loss. This is a huge loss. I think one of the most underrated players of his generation, and I have had the many opportunities to see Dickie Betts live over the years, and every time I got the reason I got a gold top Les Paul is because of Dickie Betts. Every time I saw the Allmans play, since in fact, I saw them on the 7 Turns tour. I think I saw them pretty much every tour for a number of years in the New York City area, or even here in upstate in the Hudson Valley. And man, Dickie was always up there playing that gold top Les Paul, and those notes were singing, and just he had the hat and the long hair, and just there was something about that melodic lyrical style of Dickie Betts that just so sweet. And I got to see him play alongside Warren Haynes. I got to see him play alongside Derek Trucks. Either way, magical stuff. He's missed. This hurts. This is but 80 years old. He lived a long life. He was out there playing music, at a pretty young age in the early mid 60s, and playing up until not that long ago. So he's given us a lot in his life, and now he can go and rest easy. And he leaves behind wife and family, and his son has been continuing on, and I'm sure he will continue to do so. And yeah, go out and listen to some classic Allman Brothers today, and let's all pay tribute to the man, Mr. Dickie Betts. It's really sad when you think that J-Mo is the only guy left. We've lost Greg, we've lost Greg and Dwayne, we've lost Barry, we've lost Dickie, we've lost Butch, lost so many people in the Southern rock world. It's just crazy, but it's going to happen to all of us, unfortunately. So rest in peace. Dickie Betts leaves us at 80 years old here on 24. Thanks for watching, everybody. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.